Welcome to the Property Profits Real Estate Podcast, the show where real estate investors talk strategy, capital, deals, and growth with your host, Dave Dubeau.
You've heard of mortgage brokers. You've heard of insurance brokers. You've heard of real estate brokers. Have you heard of water brokers? Probably not. I hadn't until I met Sean Flanagan, zooming in from Colorado. That's what Sean does. And he's got an interesting mix of the water brokerage business, along with that being kind of his unique selling proposition when it comes to real estate and real estate investing. So, Sean, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
So, Sean, give us a little snapshot, first things first, about real estate. You and your role within real estate investing. What do you do? What do you focus on? What's your niche?
Great question. Historically, I've been kind of down the fairway with everybody else. Typical asset classes, industrial, multifamily, retail, things like that. Historically, I've been the minority investor within a firm that I was working for. So essentially putting my own skin into the game and trying to participate anywhere I could, scrape together every penny. I even played the credit card triage game where borrow on the credit card for X, outperform that, pay off the credit card, rinse and repeat. That gambit's a little tougher today. Those rates are higher.
It's exciting. It's more exciting, that's for sure. Yeah.
Great path to the bottom. I would not recommend that today. However, today what I do is I am trying to, once again, put my skin into the game and put my money where I'm working. I work in water rights. I work on ranches. I work on affordable housing. I'm all over the place in real estate, but with a specific nuance to water. So my business is twofold: land use consulting and water brokerage. Pretty confident there's not a lot of water brokers out there. So
no, there probably aren't. Okay, so that's kind of the real estate side of things. And without getting too deep in the weeds, explain what a water broker does.
Good question again. And I will be very honest with you. 2 years ago, I didn't know a water broker existed either. So
good. That obviously means we don't need a 24-year-long education to get into the business. So, or maybe.
I would tell you, I'm a quick study. I like brain damage type things, complexity, legal nuance, history, all that kind of fun. So essentially 101, what a water broker does is it's my job to facilitate transactions. I'm not necessarily buying the water rights myself. I am also by no means selling Dasani water bottles. It's not that type of water. Well, water is water, but I buy and sell or support transactions for raw water resources. So
what does that mean? Yeah, what does it mean?
It means ditch rights. It means stream rights. It means groundwater. Things that are not within the municipal service system quite yet. There are essentially 5 different types of water rights you could buy or sell. And yes, you can buy municipal tap credits, things like that. However, where I really fit into the mix is, let's say, for example, Tom Jones, developer, is trying to build a warehouse. Let's make it more accurate. He's trying to build a housing community on the outskirts of a municipality. Well, in Colorado, in the Mountain West, when you go to annex your property within a community, a lot of times we're told, go find water and bring it to us and dedicate it to us, and then we'll give you your approvals. So not only do you...
So they're not saying, hey, go ahead, we'll plug into our water system. They're saying, go find your own water system and bring it to us and let us plug into that too. Is that kind of what they're saying?
Yeah, it can be, but more specifically, they're looking for the water rights themselves. They don't want to build out more pipes, and they're going to actually require you to build out those pipes to connect to their system as part of their tap. Normal process. But really what they're saying is, hey, within our water supply, we can only serve so many rooftops or so many warehouses or so much acreage on a ranch, which is not what municipalities do. But the water only goes so far. That was the point I was trying to make. And when they are expanding their municipal boundary, they will tell developers, yeah, we'd love to have you. We need more water to be able to serve you. So in Colorado and West, there's a dedication process. Somebody like me will go out and identify a water supply that is not in the municipal system currently. Let's say it's a mine up in the mountains, or it's a ranch, or it's a farm, or it could be a number of things. Maybe it's a gravel pit, all sorts of different options. But that water is in a raw form, meaning it's never been in a municipal system. It's never touched someone's faucet before. It's been on the field. It's been in agriculture. And what they'll do is say, we want that water supply. We will expand it into our system. You will pay for it. You will pay for the lawyer to go to water court for us. There's also a whole water court judicial process that's separate of traditional criminal judicial systems. So when I say complexity and brain damage, it's in there. Backing up a half a second, I spent about 2 years reading a ton. I also had a few early engagements that I learned from to be able to do this. Water rights are so unique and so complex that let me ask you this question. Here's a great. How many real estate brokers do you think there are in the state of Colorado? All types, residential, commercial, farm and ranch, auctioneers.
I have absolutely no idea, Sean. So you just tell me that.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I won't trap you here. My guess originally was 10,000. I have not fully validated that because it obviously changes every year and weekly, monthly. Water brokers, there are 10, I believe. And I include myself in that. So there's 9 others. Of those 9 others, the average age is in the 70s. So there's going to be even less and less of us out there doing it.
Hey there, if you're a capital raiser, a syndicator, or a fund manager, and you're looking for a steady flow of incoming accredited investor leads, then go ahead, grab a free copy of my new book, How to Get 20 Accredited Investor Meetings Every Month Without Cold Calling, Networking, or Chasing People. You can get that at 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. Again, that's the number 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com.
Well, let's tie this into real estate investing, because it sounds like you've kind of married the two of them. So the show is Property Profits. We got the gist of what water brokering is now. How do you combine that with real estate investing? How have you kind of turned this into your secret sauce?
So I'm going to explain a concept in water rights to you, and then I'll explain the workaround. In Colorado, water rights are owned by the people, meaning there is a anti-speculation prohibiting of buying water rights. That's the concept. They don't want individuals or corporations, the wealthy of the world, buying and holding water rights. Okay. Because
that sounds
the benefit
good.
of the people. Yeah, conceptually, it sounds great. But how do people invest in water? Because there's always going to be somebody that wants to invest. So the nuance is there are several districts and regions of Colorado where the anti-speculation is heavy. It's got to be cautious. And I won't name them because I don't want to get myself in hot water. But there are alternative ways to do this. And the high net worth folks that can have a slow and patient mindset are doing this. And what they're doing is they're buying the ranch from grandpa, grandma, maybe grandma and grandpa don't exist anymore and they passed and now the whole ranch is in probate or it's in a sibling squabble. Who knows?
Got it.
Essentially, what some of the smart investors are doing is they're getting in front of it and they're realizing the water, specifically in Colorado, is more valuable than the land. Land can be worthless without water. So these groups, they're sophisticated enough to know that it's not it's not a fast play. They'll buy the ranch, buy the farm, operate it, because in Colorado, you have to put your water to beneficial use. You can't just buy it and hold it and put it in a tank and then sell it, down the road. That's a very simple way to think about it. But farming and ranch assets and opportunities are going to continue to be available. There is what we call the lost generation of farmers. And essentially, grandma and grandpa are aging out or they die. But the kids don't want to have anything to do with the land. And the grandkids may even be off to the races in their own careers, doctors, lawyers, whatever. And they want nothing to do with it. And so that ranch, that farm, it either wallows and dies and the water rights stop being used and then it loses its value. Or there are organizations out there that have foreseen this pattern that are acquiring those agricultural opportunities to keep them in business, to then slow play and hold the water rights, to then ultimately in the future, as municipal boundaries grow, then they have an opportunity to make a decision. Should we keep the cattle on the land and keep grazing? Or should we sell the cattle, sell the land, annex it in, dedicate the water to Denver, to Aurora, to Castle Rock, to wherever, and then build more rooftops?
So it's kind of a combination of land banking and the new twist, water banking.
Yes.
Kind of.
And some municipalities that you actually used the right phrase. Water banking is real. Same with land banking. Some municipalities will allow you to water bank. They themselves have growth initiatives, and they will let you, or your organization or your LLC or whatever, buy that ditch right upstream from Farmer Joe and dedicate it to them for a tap credit. So in that scenario, you're
okay. It's getting a little complex and in the weeds here, Sean. So
I'll slow down.
Just the big picture right now. Okay. I think I'm getting the gist. So basically, there are people looking at the situation. They're marrying the situation of, old farmers and ranchers aging out and that going to waste. If they purchase those properties and keep them running as a farm or as a ranch, then they can kind of keep the rights to the water going as things are going that way. And then as municipalities grow out, then they can look at, okay, do we want to sell the water rights? Do we want to sell the land? Do we want to develop this? They've got more options. So what does that look like for you these days, Sean? How many of these kind of deals are you involved in? What role do you play?
So as broker, I play the middleman. I also play the information provider. As you were quick to tell, this is complex. The water rights are legal. There's nuance to it. So a lot of times I educate folks. But I'm a broker. It's my job to get in the middle, push paper around on behalf of a buyer or a seller, or at the moment, I'm a transaction broker on a deal between a county and a historical farm, whereby the county themselves, the municipal folks, didn't want to grant me agency because it creates complications and conflicts. So I'm a transaction broker, but they've still agreed to pay me. So I'm not their agent, but they're willing to pay me because they need this resource. Essentially, I am in the middle of about 8 different sale listings at the moment. I'm selling multiple different types of water, multiple different locations of where I'm selling water. I also have some buy initiatives. So, for example, I mentioned earlier the developer that has been told by XYZ municipality, go get water. Well, in the Arkansas Basin, which is down in Colorado Springs, which is south of me, which is why I'm doing this, it's hard to find. So I was engaged to go and find water on a 3-year contract, knowing that we still might not even get it done in 3 years. So I'm constantly out looking for new supplies. I am also marketing and attempting to sell existing supplies, while also consulting and trying to be a resource to the development community. So, for example, I am listing a golf course for sale right now, and that's mostly a land engagement. However, how I got involved was the water. The golf course is shut down. It's not operating. It's the Deer Creek Golf Course in southwestern Denver. I was engaged to find out if there was an opportunity to sell and move the water to a different municipality. Fast forward to today, we're looking at keeping the water on the land because it is, in our current snapshot, a higher and better use to keep the assets together. But sometimes you separate them, you bifurcate it, just like oil and gas, just like mineral rights. You can separate them from the land.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, thank you very much for explaining how all of that works. And these days, who are you looking to get connected with, Sean?
Municipalities. What I see is that one side of the equation, buy or sell, almost always for me is a municipality. So continuing to network with those rural towns, the outskirts of Denver. Denver Water itself is not currently out buying water rights, or at least from what I'm seeing. They have rights, they've had them for a long time, and they haven't even put them all to use. So it's everybody else, essentially. So I'm looking for municipal relationships, groups that maybe they have a gravel pit that's evaporating water and they have to replace it. That's an opportunity for us. That's what we like to do. Or developers, housing developers and I get along really great. Every housetop or every rooftop ultimately needs water. How are you going to turn your shower on? How are you going to turn your kitchen sink on? Housing developers, another great client. So, I mean, between those two, that's the majority of my business. But really, it could be any developer or farms and ranches too. I have several clients that are playing that long game and are looking for senior water rights, meaning water rights that are older than others that have been used the longest, things like that.
Interesting. Very cool. So if people want to connect with you, Sean, where should they go?
You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. You can absolutely see about my background, some of the engagements I've been working on. You can also cold call me. I love getting cold calls. And if I can, I'm happy to help any and all projects. I am addicted to development. I think that's an easy way to say that. And water is a crucial component. You can't get your approvals and your permits without a water plan.
Very good. Sean, thanks so much for explaining what being a water broker is all about. That was very interesting.
Thanks for the time, Dave. Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Property Profits Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, apply at daveinterviews.com.